Shop your way with eBay and get your goodies today. Get all your special deals by going over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com. Click on that eBay icon and get started today.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Nextcast. Looking to get affordable automation software, you can try Nextcast for 2 free weeks. And if you like it, you can purchase it for only $150. Nextcast will save you thousands of dollars with 100% free upgrades for all its users. Get Nextcast today by heading on over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and click on the Nextcast banner to get your free trial.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? We're going to send us that in memorial to the Indiana Pacers and all the girls that missed their periods. Missed my period. It was 2 weeks late. Now she's all swelled up. Oh my God, I hope it's just water weight. Well, let me ask you just one time, say, I guess you'll say, what can take all of your puffiness away? My doll. Just take your my doll. My doll. She's got so much ass packed in the back of her jeans. Biggest crack of booty that I've ever seen. Well, let me ask you just one time, say, I guess you'll say, what could take all of your swelling away? My doll, my doll, my doll. Girl, just take your my doll, my doll. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's right, kids. If you miss it, if you're late, or maybe you got menopause, it's all over now.
This amazing radio station is brought to you by Sam Broadcaster, the world's #1 solution for online broadcasting. Visit us at spatial.com.
It's now time for the weekly rundown with your host, DJ Friktion. The Professor, Michael Benson. And Kevin, the Iceman Tapey. Yeah, we are broadcasting live on 102.DLG Radio. You listen to the weekly rundown with yours truly, DJ Friktion, the Professor Michael Benson, and of course, my other crazy partner in crime, Kevin the Iceman SKPE, and we are broadcasting live on this very special Tuesday live on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and now you can catch us live on iTunes. I almost said TuneIn twice. What's going on, guys? How are you guys?
Welcome back, Mike. Good to see you.
I know.
I'm glad to be back.
Listen, we missed you last week, man.
No, we didn't, but that's all right. I'm just kidding, man.
No, we did. We missed you. We had a good time last weekend. We talked about you the majority of the time while you were gone.
That's all right.
Behind your back.
That is, get my mouth and voice back here. That's okay.
It's all love, though.
It's all love. I'll make your ass hurt just like you do mine sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay, honey. Sometimes we need a little spice in our life.
That's right.
A little change of direction.
I'm glad you flip both ways, because I don't.
This way is just a little off to the right. Last week was off to the left.
Yeah, Mike is always off to the right.
Mike's
I won't deny it. I'm always off to the right.
Listen, Mike's just off. All day, every day.
Hey, my family thinks the same thing.
It's all good, though.
Who do they call when they need money?
Well, yeah. That's when the only time anybody calls.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, anyways, so what's going on with you guys? Last week, if you guys missed last week's show, the professor was gone. He was away, moving into his brand new home. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you're happy finally to be, settled down and, ready to not have to worry about paying rent anymore or any of that nonsense. You can do whatever the hell you want to do in your own damn home.
Paying rent to someone else for the same benefactor of a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll gladly pay my mortgage every month. I get 3 times the house for three times less the money.
That's good.
What I paid for rent, or what you would pay, anybody would pay for rent these days. But I own my own house for years, and I a lot of things went wrong with health and other issues, so we had to pack it in. But I kept saying, it's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. We're going to get, we're going to get it done.
And it's good, it was I'm sure a stressful road, but it all came together for you. So
yeah,
we're definitely happy for you, man.
It's a step-by-step thing. You just take that once you decide and you to buy a house, you got to make sure a lot of things are in line with what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Your credit's got to be first and foremost. Your desire to be a homeowner, responsibility of owning a home is enormous.
Yeah.
Because it's a never-ending job.
Mm-hmm.
We just moved in, and this past week, what's today?
Today is Tuesday.
So
Tuesday the 6th.
We moved on Wednesday, Thursday. Finished unpacking everything out on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I gave the keys and had the other place cleaned, spotless on Thursday. And then this weekend I worked Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get much done when I'm working. And then
yeah. Well, good for you, man. I'm
Sunday,
happy that you.
We did some, Sunday we did some packing and unpacking and putting away and a couple of things, and then went to IKEA.
Oh yeah, so you did get to go to IKEA on Sunday.
To IKEA, I needed a wall mount for my office TV.
Mm-hmm.
Hang my TV on the wall. So we did that, and then yesterday we were more unpacking. So I probably got about 6 boxes. The house is smaller as far as storage space. It's a 1-car garage, not a 2-car.
Yeah.
So I'm putting everything. I got hooks in the garage and everything. I bought some shelving today. When I'm done, I'll have enough shelving to go all the way around.
Yeah.
A little bit at a time, because all my money was spent moving. So.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But it's the benefit is that you're finally in your own home, and you ain't gotta answer to anybody anymore.
Well, I'm paying taxes, and it's coming back to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Mortgage. I'm filing the house on mine, so they're paying somebody else so much money a month, so they can file and get a credit on their income tax.
Yeah, well, that's good.
And then it has a pool, which is an above ground pool that I've been cleaning for 2 days, getting it.
Trying to get it right.
Yeah, it's right now.
That's good.
I mean, it's perfect.
That's good. Well, Shakira, Professor did say you could come over and use his pool whenever you want.
I did. I sure did.
You just better watch him and show him around for that. I'm just kidding. Just messing around. So, Kevin, what's been going on with you, bud?
Well, let's see. Well, I'm knee-deep in my classes, doing all kinds of crazy homework.
Yes, sir. Being up kind of late at night, I see, my friend.
Yeah, late at night, working on homework. I've got several projects I'm working on. About the most exciting thing is went and saw The Martian. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to see it. You got to see The Martian. It was a fantastic movie. I mean, it's probably the best movie I've seen in at least the last 5 years. It was an excellent movie.
If I wasn't doing a radio show, that's where I would be. Today's Tuesday, Discount Tuesday.
Yeah, the movie theater.
I was going to go see Martian, but it's a 2 hour, 20-minute movie. I wouldn't have been out in enough time to get here.
Yeah, it was well worth it. And there wasn't really any dull patch in that 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was a really good movie. It moved well, had a good plot. Matt Damon was fantastic. I'm not a big Matt Damon fan, but he was good in the movie. He was actually really funny. You wouldn't think a movie like that would be funny because of the seriousness of what it is, but once you see it and once you get into the situations, you'll understand that he had to have a sense of humor, otherwise it just wouldn't have worked. But so that was a good thing. My wife was home for a week. Now she's gone again. She'll be back hopefully at the end of this week. So,
Lucky you, huh?
I don't know how she leaves you home all alone, Kevin. I mean, I wouldn't trust you.
I don't trust me either. I mean, you heard me telling my son 7 o'clock he's got to be in the shower and he's outside, so.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Do we need to cut to a commercial break real quick?
Oh, no, that's all right. It's dark outside. He'll figure it out sooner or later.
Well, Kevin said black women always like to chase him, so it might.
Maybe
it gets a little dark around the neighborhood at night.
No. All right,
knocking on the door or what?
The freaks come out at night. It's okay.
All right, now. Yeah, I had that happen to me the other day. Had a nice black lady tell me how nice my butt was.
Hey!
Yeah, and the crazy thing was it was in my eye doctor's office.
Oh, man.
Kevin, did she ask you, next time they tell you that, say, well, if it's that nice, would you like to squeeze it for a second?
Oh, she probably would have, trust me.
She would have been all over that juiciness.
Play that game, man. Just make them happy.
Anyway.
Kevin's just like,
Moving
whatever,
on.
Mike. Moving on.
Pay it forward, Kevin. Pay it forward.
But we'll see. For me this week, it's been a kind of a busy week, just doing stuff. If you guys went to the website, went to do some updating, and then today finally we did some more wedding things. Went out and got our photos taken for our save the dates. So those should be coming to me sometime this week, and then start sending them out and start getting this wedding stuff set. The location's already done. We got a DJ. We got a person to call the ceremony for us, whatever you want to call it. The
officiate.
The justice of the peace person.
Master of ceremony.
Yeah. And of course, Mike said, got somebody on backup if something happens, because you just never know what happens.
I have the backup minister, my father-in-law, and I have a backup DJ for him, just in case.
Just in case. But everything's coming together. Pretty much, I gotta work on right now is just get some good catering. And we'll be good to go.
And I even offered to cook. He said no.
Oh no, yeah, I want to stay away from that, dude. It's bad enough. It's bad enough. I already gotta go to the bathroom.
You don't want to make coladas and.
And I was just thinking about you the other day, Lewis. I was reading a story online about
what are you thinking about me?
A couple that got a bill because they didn't show up at a wedding. They got a bill for $75.
Oh Lord!
Because that's what it cost the bride and groom to pay for them to show up.
Oh crap!
In food costs and etc.
So things are coming together nicely. We'll see how it goes. Before you know it, this wedding will be here, and you guys will be attending. And Kevin, I'll come down and hunt you down if you don't come. I'm telling you right now.
You sure you don't want my mom to cater? I'll call my mom and see if she'll do it for you, man.
No, man.
She makes outrageous lumpia, man. You know what lumpia is?
Oh, lumpia rocks, dude.
My mom used to have people come to the bar when she would make it every Tuesday or Wednesday. I forget what day it was on. And she put a big old spread out on the counters and everything. People used to come just for her lumpia to the bar.
Does she make pancit?
Yeah.
Oh, lumpia and pancit. I'd hire her at this point.
Pancit, yes. Pancit.
I don't know none of that
Even
stuff.
the Filipino women.
It's Filipino food, man. That stuff is good. If you haven't had it, you gotta try it.
Oh, it's just like eating Spanish food.
Lumpia is like an egg roll, but only way, way better. The best lumpia I ever had was Bert. You remember Bert Da.Latin.Groove?
I know Bert.
He made fantastic lumpia.
Well, my mom could knock it out. And my neighbor made pork adobo, man. I love pork adobo.
Oh, yeah, I love some adobo.
like adobo?
I love adobo. You love adobo? I love adobo. All right. Hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go ahead and get started with the show. I need to step away for a minute. So it's all you guys.
Stepping away. Should we talk about him while he's gone? Should we decide what he's stepping away for? Or should we just make something up?
You got toilet paper?
Alright, so you had a topic for us today. What was that topic, Mr. Professor?
Well, I'd like to discuss something that's been on my mind for a while. You know, I have a lot of college students out there that I have on a Facebook page for just students and stuff. And I'm starting to see a lot of them not working in the profession that they were trained for because it's a flooded market right now. So the problem is some of them are unemployed and they have a high student loan debt. Nothing compared to what mine was, but still they have a very big deficit as far as what they make compared to what their student loan debt is. And something has to be done. You know, you can call Sally Mae and you can set up a payment program with them. You can reduce the interest. And, you know, if you're under if you go with the income-based factors, you can probably get a pretty low payment. Now, here's the deal, though. The government has been pushing college.
Right.
Be it at university, be it at proprietary schools, be it at private colleges. I mean, they've been pushing it. There's so much student loan money out there available. But the colleges' placement programs are not up to par. Their placement levels are so low as far as placing students. And that all revolves around economics as far as our economy goes. So it's a big mess right now, and I have a few secrets for students and a few ways that they can lower their student debt and what they need to do and then how they go about it. So if they want to write into the radio show or send a message or call into the radio show, I'll be glad to go over that with you and you can get my information. You can go to our Facebook page at 102 DOG Radio FM and leave a message on there also, and I would be glad to help you find some options and ways to lower your student debt. I feel firmly if you speak to Sally Mae, or if you can lower your debt that way, which a lot of you can based on the income base, you can also consolidate all your student loans. So if you have your student loan spread out, you can consolidate that into one loan and in one note, but you have to get the information. I know it's overwhelming and it's probably on your mind a lot, but guys, if you don't take it serious and get it done, they're gonna do what they call what is that when they basically take money out of your check, Kevin? I'm looking for
they garnish. Yeah, you can. I've been looking into this because you'd posted earlier that this is what you wanted to talk about,
yeah.
So I was starting to look into it, and I got student loans too, but I didn't get anywhere near what some of these other folks I'm reading are getting. I mean, I went to the University of North Florida here in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's not the most expensive state school in the state. It's still a good one, but it's not exactly expensive.
Right.
So, I went and paid, I think about $12,000 for my 4-year degree was what it cost in the end, and that's what I got in loans was $12,000, and I ended up paying it off in about, I think it was maybe 6-7 years is about what it took me to pay off. But I'm reading an article now on the Richmond Times-Dispatch out of Virginia about people who are in their 40s and they're still paying off student loans, and they're paying anywhere from $500 a month to $1,500 a month as a family to pay off these student loans. And I think what you're saying is key about placement, about colleges placing students in the workforce or having a pipeline to the workforce. I think that really should start before a person starts school, because frankly, and I'm probably going to make some folks mad when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you go into college and you major in philosophy, your path to the workforce is a bit smaller than if you go and you major in elementary education or in health and human services or what's the other one? Public administration or business. I mean, if you major in any of those, you have a better chance than if you major in philosophy or art or, I mean, even graphic design is way down on the list of jobs that get placed because, frankly, you don't really need a college degree in graphic design anymore. You just need to know what you're doing on a computer. So I think what you're talking about placement really should start when the student enters college rather than when they're leaving college.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Placement is not an exit strategy. Placement should be an entrance strategy, both on the student's part and on the college part, to get that student placed.
That's one sexy kitty.
Yeah, well, she decided to sleep on top of the chair for whatever
That's
reason.
okay.
So
I like
She-
that. I like that profile.
that's Maggie.
Hey, Maggie.
So to make a long story short, my case was a little bit different. I had probably 80 grand in student loans, but I got a 2-year associate's in medical assisting, and I actually went out there and taught at the college level other students how to do what I learned to do and did, which was a pretty good way. But that was like a bucket list thing I had always wanted to do, is teach. But the average student who graduates with a 2-year degree doesn't just get out and teach. I continued my education after that. Before I started teaching, I was almost done with my bachelor's program, and I made sure I went to a regionally accredited school, which a lot of people don't understand. That's another subject we'll talk about, but a regionally accredited school gives you more ground when you're looking for a job. Educational wise, a 2-year degree or a bachelor's degree at a college that's from a proprietary school, if that proprietary school is not accredited with any type of regional designation, that school is just a piece of paper that a lot of students receive, and then they get out and somebody says, well, your degree is not acceptable.
Well, and what you're talking about with 2-year degrees is that, if you go to a college that's not accredited or is not, it's not necessarily affiliated, but doesn't offer the crossover to, say, a public university. For instance, if you go to the Florida Community College system, whether that's St. John's River, whether it's Florida College at Jacksonville or Volusia Community or whatever, if you graduate with a 2-year degree from any of those colleges, any university or college in the state of Florida will take you, and pretty much any university outside of the state will take you. They may require you to take a couple of classes, but if you go to one that's not accredited, then you might end up at a 4-year university and they say, congratulations on completing that. However, you need to do this to get that. So even before you go to school, you need to have a clear idea of what it is you want to do and do your research, because you could end up at, I see these commercials for Everest all the time. You end up at Everest, and maybe that doesn't transfer to UNF's medical program.
Right. They have to find somebody who's got a acceptance program that will accept your degree which is called an articulation agreement with other colleges.
So pretty much what you're saying is that a lot of people are wasting their times if they can't earn that credit, take it off to another college.
Yes, because you want to go to a regionally accredited school because they're accepted at any college is going to take your credits when you transfer.
Right.
And they're regionally accredited. But also in the job market, you go to a no-name school and they say, oh, you're one in a dozen, that went there. You go to a little bit better school, you kind of move up on the list a little bit as far as hiring preference. Like, I went to Mountain State and got my bachelor's degree in leadership. Mm-hmm. Now, leadership, like Kevin was saying, it's not a pigeonhole degree. It's not like there's only so many people that are hired, like you said, for graphic design and stuff like that. Leadership goes into business. It's leadership programs are in all your hospitals as far as They have leadership departments for HR purposes. So it's business, it's management, it's HR. It's so many different areas of. So I did that because that went well with my background already. Then for my master's degree, I went in and got my master's in organizational management, which is human resources. Management was one of my acceleration parts of my degree. Was human resources management and then organizational management. Now, I had tons of jobs coming to me after that. That is a wide open market. I mean, management degree with a leadership degree, and then you have human resources management. I mean, that's everything you need for management packed into one. So I did it like that for a reason, and I'm trying to, as well as Kevin, I think Kevin understands, we're trying to explain to you students out there that you have to have an exit strategy, but you have to have an entrance strategy.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have student loan debt going into it.
Absolutely.
So if you're not going to be making more than you're paying out, you're not going to be able to survive.
And you have to make it smart debt is what you have to do. And that's where I'm saying, if you go to, what Mike's talking about with leadership, it can be applied in business. You look at the president of Carnival Cruise Lines, Arnold Donald. He has no experience whatsoever running a cruise line, but he has experience running a business. So running the business and having that experience and having that background in business and that degree in business means that you can walk in and you can learn, because businesses pretty much run the same. They're not, unless you're like a Google or an Apple, where the management, or Disney, where the leadership philosophy is completely different. You can walk into a business like Carnival Cruise Lines or Royal Caribbean or Ralston Purina, and you can run the business. So Mike is right. You need to go in with an entrance strategy and an exit strategy. If you like art, great, but you need to research what you can do with a degree in art. People tell me all the time, well, I'm going to go get my degree in art and then I'm going to teach. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the art teacher jobs in school districts are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer, and the people occupying those positions have been in them for 25, 30 years, and you're not going to crack into that because they don't teach art anymore. I mean, it's an elective. It's not part of your core curriculum anymore like it used to be. Or in the elementary school, they're rolling it back into, teaching the teacher in the classroom. So think about what it is you want to do. You may love art, then be an artist on the side, but figure out what it is. Or maybe what you need to do is you need to go into museum studies, or you need to go into hospitality management, because that might give you the opportunity to run a museum or be a curator or something someday, because you have that experience in hospitality management. But until then, you could run a resort, you could run a hotel, you could run a golf course, you could run any number of things with a degree in hospitality management.
I ain't trying to get off the subject or anything like that, but this has to do with college. I found very interesting today. I went to college for a few years, and there was a professor. He was my professor, a huge inspiration to me, and a great role model. And it was kind of good to see that he was in the newspaper today. His name is Jeffrey Sheenan. He was our performing arts and acting coach. And people went out there, and I guess they did an interview with him, and a lot of people were saying, hey, listen, he was a huge inspiration for us, and things along that line. I just think, I know that he was a huge presence for a lot of people. And when you guys were in college, did you guys have any type of inspirational people, inspirational professors that were inspirational to you? They were like, wow, you know what, this person really hit it home for me. I really learned a lot from this person.
I've got several. My gauge is how many times did I take their class. And I had two professors at the University of North Florida that were incredible professors to have for class. One of them is Dr. David Courtwright, and he is a professor of American history, particularly modern American history. He's the pioneer of the 60s in Vietnam. He's the one that developed the curriculum, taught that course for the very first time anywhere when he did it at Rice University, and then brought it out here to UNF. And the other one is Dr. Michael Corrigan, who I had for political science. I mean, everything I know about politics and polls and elections and trending and candidacy and how you have to get elected, I learned from this guy, and I took him twice. And, you know, he had a very interesting perspective on Southern politics and how the South really does determine who the next president will be in a lot of ways, because they're sort of like the barometer. Because if you can win the South, you can win the election. So those two guys were inspirational to me, and if I could be a professor, I'd want to be a lot like them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd have to say Storm was my professor for my leadership course, and he taught about 4 different courses that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed his way of teaching, but yeah, he was inspirational. He did this as a night job. He taught us at night. I went to night school for my bachelor's, and he taught us in a different format at Mountain State University how they do it. But you know, most college students say, "Oh, I don't really like going to school, but I'm here because I have to be here, because I can't get a degree if I'm not here." Please. So they're not enjoying the experience. But I gotta honestly say, during that portion of my education, I enjoyed that time in his class. My associate's degree, just a lot of kids, a lot of younger kids. Everybody was a lot younger than me, and they just didn't. I didn't enjoy it. You know, the teachers were okay.
Yeah.
I'm not putting teachers down, but they were okay.
I had fun when I was in college.
Yeah. I found that most of the professors I had were pretty good. I think what separated the really good ones from the ones that were just sort of middle of the road was their passion for their subject. If they truly had a passion for their subject. You know, I had Dr. Elizabeth Friedel for Irish history, and she was phenomenal. I mean, she loved Ireland. She loved talking about Irish history, and you know, particularly, well, United Kingdom was her specialty. I didn't get to take her for British history, but for Irish history, she was really good. You know, but then there were others who, they really liked American history, but they weren't passionate about it. They taught it because that was the course that was available when they got hired, you know,
right.
and they often deviated from what they were supposed to be teaching to sort of talk about what they wanted to. You know, in one particular case, it was a lady who probably should have been teaching, you know, colonial America, but from a woman's perspective, talking about women's issues of colonial America, because she could talk all day about that, but she couldn't talk about colonial America at all. So, you know, I think that's really and I think that's true of any teacher at any level, is the separation between the good ones and just the middle of the road or the bad ones is, are you passionate about what you're doing? Because if you're not, then you need to ask yourself why you're in the classroom to start with.
Exactly.
You know, it's funny, you know, we're talking about the subject, and I know we have something else to go on to, but I'll leave it with this. The biggest experience I ever witnessed was teaching. Teaching a lot of mainly women, young girls, and some older women, to do what I had a passion for, and that was the medical field, and teach them. And you know, the biggest joy in the world is when you go to graduation and you're watching your students walk for graduation, and you're sitting on the stage back behind them, and you're watching each one of your students, and they call their name and they get that diploma, and they're so stoked. And then the after party, you know, when everybody's out in the courtyard and everybody's, you know, walking around, the smiles on their faces, and that they've done it, they've experienced it, and they've accomplished something. You know, I get on Facebook all the time, students will call me or send me a message and say, "Mr. B, you were the greatest teacher we had," or "I learned so much from you."
You said, "I know."
No, I was like, "Thank you," but and then I told him, I said, "Well, you were a good student. That's what I was there for. I was to do that. That was for you. That wasn't for me. I got paid to do it, but it was a passion. I wanted to give something back. You know." And for just to hear them say, "Mr. B," you know, on a message, you know, you get your messages and stuff, and it'd be, "Mr. B, I didn't think I was learning, but I get out in the field and everything you told me and everything you taught me was right there. You told me we would do this. You told me I better be weighted and experienced and ready for this. Mm-hmm. And I doubted myself, but you were right. You gave us all the tools we needed, and you know what? I'm using everything you taught me.
And that's
I'm so glad.
That's good.
That's another sign of a teacher or professor that gets it, is when they give you something that you can use in the real world. I had some friends in one of my classes talking about they're taking classroom management, and I told them, I said, whatever you learn in classroom management, file it away, but it won't work. And they said, really? I said, no, because what they're teaching you is an acceptable method of classroom management, but it really depends on the kids that are in front of you.
Exactly.
The kids in front of you will determine what method works and what method doesn't. And a lot of times that's a method you pull out of your rear end, because that's truly what you got, Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to fall back on ignoring or whatever. You're going to have to do something unique and original.
Well, and here's the thing. I taught a day class and a night class 4 days a week. So, and I taught... That was, I had them for pretty much 4 weeks, and they were done. That class was done with me. So my classes rotated every month.
Yeah.
My night class was totally different than my day class. The students, their lifestyles, their schedules. They were going to school at night because they were working days, versus the kids at day and night. So everything was totally different. And as you say, classroom management, you have to change with your class, how you teach them.
Exactly. Everybody learns differently for each class.
Some you can talk all day long and they don't learn crap.
Well, if you talk a lot, Mike,
I know, and I do. But what I'm saying is I used to do PowerPoints. Mm-hmm. And I did a lot of PowerPoints. And they loved it because I would go down the board, I would be teaching and talking and explaining what their book is telling them. At the same time, we're having a discussion. So it's interactive. Some really gelled that way, and some didn't care. And I saw it. But when I would show a video, I used to show documentaries, used to show actual movies that pertained to what they were doing. And they really didn't think they were getting anything. And that's what she told me. She goes, yeah, I really enjoyed them when we would do the video sessions, because it was more real life what I was seeing than, just you talking in the classroom. Or us doing stuff on the board, or this and that, or hands-on. I said, well, the hands-on part goes with the video goes with the PowerPoint, and so on and so on. Why? Because all students learn differently. Some are verbal, some are auditory, some are kinesthetic, which is hands-on. I said, and some are visual. I said, so you have to mix all that together. She goes, yeah, that's what I liked about it. It was never the same. It was, not always the same grind. I said, well, I'm glad you learned, and I'm really happy that you are there. And I told her, because I didn't think you were. Mm-hmm. She goes, no. She goes, I had to put it to use. I said, well, good. I'm so happy. So yeah, Kevin, that was my experience.
Yeah, I think it really does boil down to tailoring your approach. But going back to the original subject of the student loans and all, and being smart about it, is that when you're in high school, that's where a good counselor comes in hand, is that you really need to have a guidance counselor at your high school that will take the time to talk to you and find out what your interests are. I didn't have that coming out of high school, and I wasted a lot of my time because I didn't know what I wanted to do, or I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. Whereas, my goddaughter's counselor, sat down with her and talked to her and listened to her and said, I think this college might be right for you because what you're telling me you want to do, they have a program that is second to none, and you could probably get in there. And it's a state school, and you're not going to have to spend a ton of money to go out of state and get that same degree when you could get a good one here.
Right.
So, and it really does start in high school, that you need to start thinking, sophomore, junior year, what is it that you really want to do, and how do you get there? Because if you start thinking about it at the end of your junior year, those scholarship applications got to go out pretty early. Those applications for admission got to go out early. Where you're going to send your test scores, you got to figure all that out. So, I mean, it's, it's a process. And if you think, well, I'm just going to go to college and get a degree in this. Okay, great. Now what do you do with it? You know, I'm finding that now a degree in history. I'm at a point where I either need to go back, get my master's degree in history, and teach at a community college level, or at a level at UNF that is, you know, it's not a professor, it would be more of a TA almost. Or do I want to get my master's in education, or do I want to do something else entirely? And what I want to see people do is not wait until they're 46 to figure this all out. So if you're out there and you're trying to figure it out,
right.
I mean,
it's too late.
The two of us, we'll take you through it, or we'll get you somebody that can. I mean, we're not saying we're experts, but we don't know you, so we have no dog in the fight, so to speak.
Right.
So we'll tell you the honest truth. You know, if you come to me and say, I want to get a degree in philosophy, I'm going to say, okay, tell me why you want to get it. Are you going to be the next Confucius? If that's not your plan, then you might want to think about a minor in philosophy and a major in something else.
Yeah, it's called stacking your degrees. How are you going to stack your degrees?
Right.
Because one should lead to the next to a certain extent, but
right.
You should branch out a little bit so you have opportunities.
That's right. I mean,
it's called being well-rounded.
It is, and then when you start looking at doctorate level, I mean, this is where it gets really crazy. You spend your whole entire life learning a whole bunch of stuff. You start out in kindergarten learning a whole bunch of stuff, and you just add to it until you get to about your third year of college. And then your third year of college, you don't start learning a lot of stuff. You start learning a lot about a little.
Exactly.
And then your senior year, you're learning a lot about it even less. And then when you get into your master's program, you're learning what fits on the head of this pin. And then for your doctorate level, you're learning what fits on a piece of dust. And then you're truly pigeonholed when you get to become, you know, a PhD, because then you're an expert in one thing. So you have to determine, what is that one thing going to be if that's what you decide to do? And you were talking earlier about the government pushing college. Yeah. Shoot, my son is in 7th grade, and they have college banners all over this kid's school. They're already talking about college in middle school. Mm-hmm. You know, they're telling you where some of their kids are going, whether they're going to Wake Forest, whether they're going to Brown, LSU, Alabama, Florida State.
This all has to do with the level of knowledge that our students have compared to other countries, because we've been at the bottom of the totem pole for quite some time. So now the big push is to educate. Well, and that's a socialistic factor.
And there's good points to that, and there are bad points to that. I mean,
exactly.
There are countries like Jamaica where by the time you get to the 6th grade, they give you a test and they determine what are you going to be. Right. And then they spend their money educating you for that. Mm-hmm. Whereas here in the United States, we do the exact opposite. We educate you for everything and then let you decide. Well, that's good and bad, because we've gotten rid of a lot of technical high schools, mm-hmm. where people can go learn to be auto mechanics, where they can go learn carpentry, where they can go learn wiring, even crazy stuff like now it's not a college thing anymore to be a hardware analyst for computers. I mean, that's technical skill now. But they've gotten rid of those in favor of pushing you toward college. I know plenty of kids who will not go to college, not because they can't do it, but because that's not what they desire to do. Their desire lies somewhere else. I have a friend now who wants to be a hairdresser. So she's going to go to cosmetology school. That's what she wants to do. Great, go for it. Be a good one. She's probably going to make a heck of a lot more money than a teacher. Congratulations.
But if that's what she wants to do, everybody needs a hairdresser.
Yeah.
You just got to be good at your craft, because if you're not great at your craft, you're not going to be making great money.
You could be working. Nothing against Great Clips, but you could be working at Great Clips for $14 a haircut instead of Mijan Salon for $70 or $75.
Exactly.
And if you're listening and you haven't looked at our Facebook page yet, I got a blog up about standardized testing and what it means and what it is. So if you have any interest in that, go ahead and read it. Otherwise, just ignore it. Just go to the page and look at other stuff.
Don't ignore it, because, Kevin puts a lot of hard work into his blogs. You don't want to ignore them. His blogs are very, very informative. Well, and I think it could be beneficial to a lot of people.
Kevin, I'm thinking about, after we come off a break, starting the video blog up and doing video blogs on certain lessons.
I'm looking at some video blogs. I mean, I've got it figured out. I've got it to the point now where I can actually do it. So now it's just picking the subject and making sure that I know what I'm going to say so I don't sound like a complete idiot. But, you know.
And like I told you, just record a couple of the blogs and then look back at them, just test blogs to kind of see how you speak and how you present yourself. And if you feel you don't like it, you can just always go back and re-record it.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be a little frustrating, but it takes time.
Well, I definitely like the program we use for it. So, but if you get a chance and you have kids in the education system out there anywhere, it doesn't really matter where it is because pretty much every state does standardized testing now. Go out and look at the blog, and you will be shocked at how much time your child is judged on, and your child's teacher is judged on, and your child's school is judged on, and your child's district is judged on. All in the name of accountability. So go out there and take a look at it, and feel free to comment. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me I'm just an angry teacher. Whatever you want.
Alright guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got a lot more with the Professor and Kevin the Iceman Tapey. We got to still talk about his perspectives from the edge. Also, I want to kind of bring up just a little bit of what's happening with our financial state here in the United States. So, we'll be right back right after this, guys. And look at this guy over here telling me to go to commercial break. Don't be hitting your watch. You're the one who's...
Because I got bills. You gotta pay.
Alright, we'll be right back right after this, guys. Don't go anywhere. 102.1 DLG Radio. We'll see you guys in just a moment. You can now check out 102.1 DLG Radio Orlando right now on iTunes. All you gotta do is head on over to iTunes.com, pull up your Apple, iPad, all that good stuff. Pull us on up, listen to us live, listen to all the podcasts, and so much more. Catch the weekly rundown, catch Friday Night Music Requests, catch the DLG Morning Show. Head on over to iTunes today.
Definitely cutting edge radio. The Chris Top Program. Sometimes I think I push people a little too hard.
On the
it's
live
because
broadcast.
I want the best.
Life is good. I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will.
Okay, so do you need some time to prepare, or are you ready? The Chris Top Program on Spreaker and PKN Radio.
Life is good, and I am gone. Yeah.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody, a song can last
Forever. Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes boom.
iHeartRadio is the way I get to you.
The biggest song, the biggest artist,
All in one place.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
Don't like what we play? Think you can do better? Create your own radio station at samvibe.com.
Today's show is brought to you in part by our great friends at Amazon.com. Get all your latest gadgets, appliances, and so much more. For those special deals, head on over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and click on the Amazon icon today and get your special deals today. Every day, millions of people are fighting for their lives.
Many are walking around with this disease that is destroying you and don't even know it.
Fighting to stay healthy, fighting to see another day. It's called cancer. About 1 in every 20 Americans are fighting for their lives, from breast cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, to skin cancer.
These are just a few of the major diseases that are attacking all of us every single day. Take the time to get yourself checked out at least every 6 months. It can save your life.
It can help save others.
Hi, my name is Michael, Professor Vincent. You may know me as the host of the 102 DLG Radio Network. As everybody out there has listened to the show, knows and understands that I have been a 3-time cancer survivor. And when it comes to cancer, I can totally attest to the fact that there's certain things you need to do. I've fought for cancer all my life. Even though I've already beat cancer 3 times, every day is a grind. You must understand that in order to survive, you have to get proper help at the right time. That means preventive. That means asking questions. That means going to the doctor on a regular basis. Get in touch with a local physician immediately. Go to www.cancer.org, www.cancercenter.com. Once again, thanks, guys.
Stand up to cancer.
This is DJ Friktion. Stand up to cancer.
Hey, this is Professor coming at you. Stand up to cancer.
Yeah, 102.DLG Radio. We are back for the weekly rundown, and you're locked into your favorite radio station on Tuesday nights. And you're joining us live right now again for the weekly rundown with yours truly, DJ Friktion, the Professor, and of course Kevin the Iceman Tapey, and we are back. I want to go ahead and just touch upon this really quickly. I don't want to, because we're running out of time, because you guys just went long on the last segment, and I was trying to give the signals to the Professor. He kept going, shaking his head. Yeah, okay.
Then he pushed you into the commercial.
And then he pushed me into the commercial, talking about time, please. So he wanted to talk about what he wants to talk about, and then it's like, oh well, we're crushed for time now.
Kevin was talking.
It's only an hour show.
That was not a one-man talk about. That was a two-man talk about.
Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the financial status of the United States. There's been a lot of talk, especially, over the past few years. But recently, it's been getting a lot worse. I want to get you guys' opinion on this. But I don't know if you guys heard about this. But for those who are needing of assistance for food stamps or whatever have you, there's a big rumor going around that the food stamp program is going to be going away, just because the government can no longer.
Snap.
Yeah, snap. You got it. So the government can no longer afford to keep this program running.
Right.
So my question to you guys, as the co-hosts of this program, what are your thoughts on those who? Because we know there are people out there who take advantage of the system who really don't need it. And then we got people out there who really need the assistance and are struggling to fight to get the assistance. Now, if this goes away, how will this affect those who really need the program?
First off, I don't think it will ever go away. And the reason I say that is because it brings in too many votes. But the reason, I think a lot of the reason why it's the demand, why it's in such trouble is that, we have a lot more people that are now being covered under these programs that up until recently weren't covered. They were illegally in the United States and they weren't entitled to benefits. And recently there was an executive order issued that they would be given access to, food stamps and welfare and all these other social programs that used to be reserved for people who were American citizens.
Right.
Now, my concern going forward is that, there's rumor of 100,000 or more refugees from the Middle East coming to the United States, and that's going to further tax the system of, social programs. And the reality is where are you going to get the money from? It's very easy to look and say, just tax the rich more, but that's not the way it's not the way it really works, because the rich are the ones that create a lot of the jobs. They own the companies, and the rich don't stay rich by giving their money away. And the other issue is that we now have almost a two-class system in the United States anymore, where we have those who have not, and very few in the middle. And that's really the crux of the issue, is that you don't have that middle class that you used to have. Where you have that now is in China, which is what's causing a lot of issues, is that the Chinese economy is booming, and at some point that Chinese economy is going to hit a bubble, which is going to further cause economic problems here in the United States. And so my question is, if you want to fund these programs, where are you going to get the money from to fund them? And ironically, the people who receive the less benefits are the ones who have earned it, and that's our veterans.
Exactly. Who's paid into the system is who's got the earned income credit.
Yeah.
It's like, for instance, disability. I paid probably double what the average person pays into the income tax system as far as the credits, you get so many income disability credits, right, on your Social Security sheet. I had double the credits, and I had to go to court to finalize my disability. I was turned down 3 times and then had a hearing. Now, most people walk right in and they get it right away. I had cancer and they thought I was a goner, you know. And I get my disability right after I'm almost done with treatments. So my point is that all ties hand in hand. The U.S. government wants us to fight to get benefits if you're a middle class person, which is no longer middle class. We're the have-nots now, as he stated. So the economy is in a state of dismay, and it's going to get worse. I mean, just watching the news right now, Huffington Post was citing that, you know, it's a false, as Kevin said, it's a bubble getting ready to burst. Well, there's a false ceiling on it, okay? Meaning that you're really here when they're saying you're here, and that's that false ceiling that's up here. And the economy is gonna probably in the next year or so is when you're gonna see a lot of stuff starting to go here and go there. You see this, rebuild bridges, roads, all the money that's going there.
Look at $1 trillion to rebuild bridges, roads, and
better
airports.
Refinancing for tuition right here, free public college tuition. This is a Bernie Sanders proposal on Fox News, giving college students free college. Well, what about those of us who did go to college and had to pay?
Well, it that too, but then again, in my estimation, you devalue you devalue a college degree at that point if you give everyone access to it. And if you stop and look at it, I equate it with the laws that are already on the books. If you just apply the laws that are out there, you know, then you don't have this. Hold on one second.
Listen, I think we're going to have a very, 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 very interesting voting season.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're going to have a very interesting voting season, and I think probably, was it the November, when it's the voting time? November what?
2016.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got... You guys were talking about it before we went on the air, right? We talked about Jeff Bush
Right.
and a bunch of other people who are running freaking, what's his name, Donald
Bernie
Trump.
Sanders, Carson,
You know, and
Fiorina.
we were talking about this before the show started, but I think, you know, personally, I'm looking at refinancing my house before the start of 2016 because I think the mortgage rates are going to go up, and I think, you know, if I want an advantageous rate, now is the time. Whereas, you know, I think the election cycle is going to determine a lot of where we end up going because I think you're going to have a clash of ideologies because you've got several candidates who are very conservative, and then you've got several candidates that are very liberal, and you've got no in between. And I'm not sure there's a candidate out there that can come to the middle. So I think it's going to be a dogfight, you know. Not that I want to get Michael Vick interested in our conversation.
Well, but you know, I think Obama's created that dissension between the left and the right. You know, he's pushed both back from the middle.
So, you know what? It's going to be a very interesting subject, and I think we should continue this subject next week. Because I think there's a lot we can go around and play around with this. But I want to go ahead and make sure we get Kevin's topic in before we get ready to head off the air. Because I think it's very, very important.
I mean, we're on a roll, so if you want to keep going, that's fine. So we can do that next week, too.
No, Kevin, we're going to expound. We're going to expound. Probably, I look at us probably expounding on this through the whole election. Are you with me?
Well, I think so, because, you know, what's created the situation we're in public education, and speaking as someone who's been in front of a class, you know, for 10 years, we've gotten to a point now where, whether teachers realize it or not, we have started teaching to a test in a lot of ways. You know, the blog that I wrote this week is about how much time your child spends in school. They spend roughly 65 or over 60,000 hours of actual education time, and they're judged on about 480 hours of that time, or 480 minutes, I'm sorry. So they're 480 minutes of their life, so it's over 60,000 minutes they spend in school. In educational time, it's over 70,000 when you take out lunch. Because they're not learning anything in lunch. But that may go away, and you may actually have class during lunch and have a working lunch. Who knows? But so 0.007% of your child's time is how their progress is based. It's how their teacher's effectiveness is judged. But think about the things that I control as a teacher. Mike, you've been in a classroom, and I'm going to ask you a series of yes or no questions. Can you control whether your student eats before they come to your class?
No.
Can you control whether the student sleeps the night before your class?
No. Nope.
Can you control whether your student has parents who promote education at home?
Nope.
Can you control whether or not the student is interested in learning?
Yes.
To a certain extent, yes. Can you control whether or not they do their homework?
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yes, if you offer rewards. However, when they get out in the workplace, is that reward going to be there to do their job?
No, and I honestly, you're asking me yes or no questions, but honestly, I told my students, I said, nobody's going to give you anything once you leave this classroom. There's no reward for doing your job. You're getting paid.
That's right. That is your reward.
You're getting paid.
And and I think the reason I wrote the blog is because I've been, as most of you know, I have a son who's in middle school, and he took tests last March and April, and those results are not in yet, and we're now in October of the following school year, and we don't know how he did on those tests.
And that's wrong.
And so my question to people who will listen is, was that test about enhancing his education, or was it about something else? If you're not getting the results back in time to use them, then it's not about the student, it's about something else. And when I grew up, the purpose of taking a test was for the teacher to find out what I knew and find out what I didn't know, so that he or she could go back in and reteach a lesson or introduce me to a topic that's new because I mastered an old one, or review a concept I didn't know very well. But that's not what it's about anymore. It's about holding me, the teacher, accountable. Should I be held accountable? Hell yeah, I should be held accountable. Is a standardized test the right way to do it? Not when you're asking me to differentiate instruction, because if you're asking me to teach Reginald by use of computers and visuals, and you're asking me to teach, Shauna or Shannon using a book, and you're asking me to teach Danny by talking to him, but you're giving them all the same test. Does that make any sense?
No.
Not really. So what is standardized testing about? I think what we need to do as citizens of the United States and as parents and vested interest stakeholders in our education system is find a better way to get teacher accountability without causing students to go to the doctor and be on anti-anxiety and depression medication because they're scared to death of a test. Why are they scared of it? Because we're scared of it as teachers, because you know what? Our pay, our future, our jobs depend on how these young people do on these tests. And it's ridiculous.
And it's funny when you're talking about that, because it doesn't matter what level it's at, because at the college level, when I'm teaching college, my job depends on my retention factor as far as my students. I was a chair on the retention committee.
Yeah.
For the college, meaning our job on the retention committee was to keep students in the seats.
Right.
Not letting them leave and quit and drop out and so on.
Right.
So it's no different. Our jobs were on the line as teachers if our retention rates weren't high to an acceptable level.
Right.
And believe me, raises were the same way. We didn't get a raise for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, and I think here in the state of Florida, I mean, if you're listening outside the state of Florida, you'll have to look at your own state. But here in this state, I think the reason that, I've got company. I'm counting down. I got you. Anyway, so I think the reason we went this far is because of teachers' unions. Teachers' unions in the state of Florida are, to a certain extent, they're bullies. And I know that a few of my teacher friends who happen to be listening are going to get upset about that, but they are bullies to a certain extent because they don't they're not seeing the other side, and neither are the politicians, for that matter. We got to find a way to meet in the middle, because our kids are far too important to fall into this trap of teaching to a test.
Well, and I have to agree with that. Like you said, the bottom line of even at the college level of giving a test is to see what the curve across the board is with the grades and how people are scoring on the test. I never liked a straight across pattern. I like to see a zigzag, a little bit of a zigzag on the testing and scoring, because now I know where there's zigzag, because I would actually look at the zigzag. Where are they missing when I go through the test? Who's missing the same questions over and over?
Right.
Who's missing? Then I know, okay, this part of the book is where they missed it. This part of the chapter is where they didn't get it.
Let's look at it this way. Say you work in a retail environment, and I'm going to decide that on February the 3rd, I'm going to take 3 random customers, and your entire year will be based off how you work with those 3 customers. Is that fair?
Yeah.
You think it's fair? Say you run it. You're in an environment, a retail environment, where you run into, say, 37,000 people a year, and you're going to be judged on how you handled 3 customers.
Well, yes and no. It's not a totally full yes or no question, but that can give me as a manager guidance as far as where you're missing when you're handling 3 customers.
Right, but if that is your sole means of evaluation, meaning if you don't do well with those 3, you don't get a raise, or I fire you, or if you do well with those 3, I give you a raise.
No,
but that's what we're asking teachers to do.
I know that. Then that's luck of the draw is what you get in there, and that's what your teachers are teaching. Your teachers are teaching out of fear. And that's the wrong factor.
Well, and we're leaving in droves, too.
Right. Okay, Kevin. We're going to be out of here. I'd like to thank you, Kevin, and Mr. Lewis for this show that we had tonight. Anything from you, Kevin? Anything you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so. I mean, hit me up on the Facebook page or on Twitter. My Twitter account's on there somewhere. Make sure if you're on YouTube, you hit the like or subscribe or wherever that button is. And follow us and check us out. And if you got suggestions or comments, let us know. The only way we get better is if you tell us what we need to improve on. That's our evaluation.
All right, guests. If you have any questions on this show from this broadcast, please feel free to go to our Facebook page at 102 DOG Radio FM Orlando and post your question on a message.
And guys, don't forget, we will be live on October the 30th for 24 straight hours, so come on by, join me, and maybe if all goes well, maybe the professor and Kevin will drop in throughout the show and come say hi to everybody. And then with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much. Thank you again, Kevin. Thank you again, Professor. Till next time, we're out of here, y'all. See you guys on the other side, baby.
Peace.
Peace.
What's up, guys? DJ Friktion here to remind you, if you really enjoy what we do here at 102.DLG Radio, take the time to support our program by going over to our official website, www.102DLGRadioOrlando.com, and donate today. That's right, son of y'all. Go on over and donate today and show your love for the show, y'all. And we'll keep doing what we do here. Much love.